our Mac Miller mix portion going with the next song on the list. That's On Me.
That's on me. That's on me. I know. That's on me. That's on me. It's all my fault. That's on me. That's on me. I know. That's on me. That's on me. I know. Time moving slowly, I'm bouncing my head off the wall. I know nobody that knows where we're going at all. Don't let me down. And I'll pick you up, I'll help you get around. That's on me, that's on me, I know. That's on me, it's all my fault. That's on me, I know. That's on me, I know. I'll let it go. I'll cut the strings. Today I'm fine. I don't know where I've been lately, but I've been alright. I said good morning this morning, and I'll say good night. Don't wait around. We'll take the stairs that gets us here to there is some fair when I'm being too proud. That's on me, I know. That's on me, it's all my fault. That's on me, I know. That's on me, I know.
That's but a taste of Mac Miller Circles with That's On Me, just played, and Hand Me Down, track 8 and 9 on Circles. I do want to get into a little bit of the review. The reviews that have been out. We'll start with the Rolling Stone review. They rank it 4.5 stars. Just probably, from what I've heard so far, it's my take. Pretty much what I would say is, I would call this a album that is probably as good as it can be without being perfect. Like, for me, 5 stars. If I had to give albums 5 stars, very, very rare that I give them 5 stars. They really, I think, have to resonate with me. And this is probably about, from what I've heard so far, as good as it can be without really being perfect. Because it's just like, it hits, not all the songs hit the spot for me. Not all the songs hit every spot. It doesn't, really pack that much of a punch, but from what I've heard, it really is beautiful music. Like, those 2 songs that we played for you, those are, I think, just pretty much undeniably, really, really cool works of art from Mac Miller. And, yeah, so that is just some of the project that he's put out here. We want to get into this review here by Danny Schwartz. She writes, "It is, to Mac Miller's great credit, that he has become more compelling the further his career progressed. He would have made millions if he'd stayed true to his humble teenage beginnings as a sentient snapback cat, Lord Finesse admirer, and legal opponent, and also Pittsburgh's sauciest white boy since Terry Bradshaw. But rather than remain a torchbearer for frat rap, Miller dedicated his adult years to earnest expansion and refinement of his artistic vision as rapper, producer, and eventually singer. Before he died of an accidental drug overdose in September of 2018 at age 26, Miller put out two of the most complete albums of his career: The Divine Feminine, an ornate jazz rap record, and Swimming, a profoundly bittersweet portrayal of his attempts to come to terms with depression and heartbreak. Swimming is a slow-paced but hardly a slog. It is buoyed by infectious grooves spanning rap, funk, and trip-hop, as well as Miller's surprising emotional clarity and depth. Okay, you gotta jump into Swim. Well, the light was dim in this life of sin. He sings on the song 2009 with the faintest twinkle in his eye. On Swimming, despair and hope finally fire alternately like velvet-coated pistons. The same dynamic animates Circles, his companion album to Swimming, and Mac's first posthumous release. Circles doesn't build on Swimming so much as riff on it. It's not a fresh chapter that gestured towards Mac's untold fortune, but rather a genuine companion piece, a time capsule to be placed alongside Swimming. The songwriting is comparatively languid and often carries a feeling of a dream, as Miller constantly retreats into his head, both a refuge and a prison, which I think is a really great way of putting it, kind of summing up Mac Miller's music, like the way he operates, and the way, like his whole aesthetic as a performer, as an artist. He's kind of known for a guy who's he's very much in his head. He's a creature of his own. He's a creature of his own. I'm not say a creature, but kind of like a victim. I don't know the right word, but just someone who's like caught up in their head. To just put it out that way. But yeah, Miller was chipping away on Circles with veteran composer-producer John Bryan when he passed away. Bryan, who is credited on over half the songs on Swimming, completed Circles based on his time and conversations with Miller. The result is a stripped-down style production that serves to bring Miller's wispy, plaintive singing style to the fore. Several songs veer close to the coffee shop aesthetic of his popular NPR Tiny Desk concert. They're intimate set pieces that frame him as more of a singer-songwriter than rapper. Indeed, he hardly raps on Circles at all, by deploying delicate indie rock drums and lo-fi piano, and the kind of wistful guitar strumming you might hear on a Freshman Quad at Good News there. That's a big example of that. But he and Bryan recreate terrains native to artists like Teddy Pendergrass, hand-me-downs, or Randy Newman on Everybody, and Jack Johnson on Surf. There's a lot of texture in these songs, but they flow, and they flow effectively, and it really is it's easy to see how that can work. But it's something that is, I think you can really tell if someone said, if you didn't know that these two were supposed to be companion albums, but then you listen to the two as companion albums, I don't think you would be really that surprised. But I think the truth is that they stand to really reason well on their own. I think they're very effective in what they do and what they've been able to push off. But Circles is full of gentle notes to the self, notes to self that emotional pain isn't something that evaporates overnight, and that Mac Miller need only take things one day at a time. For I start to think about the future, first, can I please get through a day? He has so uncomplicated. On the closer, once a day, he chides himself, don't keep it all in your head, the only place that you know nobody ever can see. The Woozy standout track, Woods, affirms the pursuit of love as a risk worth taking. Never going through the motions, I'm just trying to lay your body down slowly, we can only go up. For Miller, Circles exists as a form of therapy as he seeks to break out of old patterns of thinking and the steady reminders to embrace the present and to let go of everything else to form a new pattern, a means of resilience, and maybe even a path to liberation. As Miller demonstrates, on Circles. Being a sorrowful bluesman and an unwavering optimist aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Like, he really binds them well. Like, some of those two songs that we played there for you are kind of the sorrow and the happiness in two tracks, in Hand-Me-Downs and That's On Me. Both songs that I'll probably be listening to again, and I will get into this album much, much more, but it's going to take a little bit of time. But because it's just the way I listen to music. It's nothing against, obviously, the album, which I think is going to be very, very good. The album doesn't possess the piercing introspection, precision, or revelatory quality of Swimming, but of course Miller wasn't there to see it across the finish line. It serves as a fitting coda to his career, which itself embodies the Japanese self-betterment principle of kaizen, or change for the better. If there is any solace in the fact that his musical journey may have come now to an end, it's that he received his flowers in life. I speak, of course, of Jay-Z's rambling 2017 Twitter tribute to 90-plus rappers who inspired him. He only mentioned two white artists, Eminem and Mac Miller, both of whom we will be talking about on the show today. Too many, fab. Black people, really magic. Mac Miller, nice too, though. Hove wrote in conclusion. For Miller, there was no greater validation. He framed a print of that tweet and hung it out on his wall at home. He may have still been working on himself, but he died with the knowledge that his art was loved and respected. We'll conclude our Mac Miller discussion before we get into our mix with Woods, track 7 off Circles.
This ain't built to last. I might just fade like those before me. When will you forget my past? Got questions, ask, you know the stories. And you need to let me know when you're leaving, where you go. Can I come? Do you believe me? Are you close? Yeah. Even if you don't, that'll get you sprung. Do I love? Can I get enough? Run away, love, hate, love, heartbreak will have you bankrupt. Too many days in a days, better wake up. I put your face in the place where the space was. Nobody make you feel like you, but and you don't know what you should do. You just looking for someone to make you move. Oh, tell me, I'll make this planet feel like home. It's us first time, the door's closing. So far beyond all our control. You saved us all so close to broken. It's so much better when you wait forever in a day. That's all I got. Put it together, then it break. All the energy it takes, it never stops.